I never looked at this as a nitrate problem. I recognize it because every world specialist I talked to, and I talked to a ton of them, everybody said the same thing. You got a marker. You need to deal with the infrastructure in a developing area to take care of the real problems that's coming down the pike. And so I got to tell you, I know we've had our disagreements over the years since you folks have been working, but I appreciate your volunteering for this and putting your time and efforts into it, because I know as I sit here volunteering on this commission, you know, it's a task. You've got things that you have to do, and I appreciate that you've worked through a lot of different components of this. But I think we're on basically the right track. We need to look at this as we have a developing area. What do you want to do to make this successful? And to me, that's the key to everything. That's the key to it all. Coming up with a plan that makes it successful over a period of time. And I think that that's the only way that we're going to solve any kind of issue that we have in an area like we have with all the lots we have down there. So I appreciate your efforts.
Okay. One concern that I think has really been ignored is the minority, the 10% that are carrying the high nitrate. There's approximately 7 to 10% of the people out there that have over 4 milligrams, and the DEQ is aware that the highest one out there that I've seen is 74. And so we're talking about, you know, in some respects kind of punishing the majority and ignoring the minority, that if there is going to be a health risk, you would want to begin looking there first.
To segue off of your planning, one other recommendation that we're probably going to address at our next meeting is that the DEQ look at what's happened in Iowa and Maryland, where they've looked at economically challenged communities and have developed a long-range plan so they can work that in and help the people in those economically challenged areas. So that's one of the recommendations that we're going to have. And I think that today it passed at the Senate Ways and Means or Natural Resources that they're asking the DEQ to do that. So, but I think that it would be a recommendation that comes from the committee as well.
One of the other things, I think Bob wants to say this, so I think I'm going to say it for him. I'm going to say it. So as you discharge, you said you discharge from a sand filter or a leach line into the top, 2 or 3 feet, and that the contaminants will tend to stay. They don't just go down. They go down and hit the water. Then when they're in the water, they tend to stay. But if you have a bunch of wells that are sucking water, there's this cone of depression that pulls, so it actually stirs the groundwater.
Right.
So basically, because we have all these wells that are sucking water out of the ground, it's actually taking the contaminants and pulling them down, which then gets them closer to the concern you have that maybe that will go to the next aquifer below.
I just have one comment. It wasn't too long ago, a couple of years back, we had a goal 11 exception that was actually introduced as legislation at the state level, and that legislation was salted with other items, if you will, and became unpalatable, I guess, for lack of a better term. I'm happy that you stressed the fact that a goal 11 exception would not be quote unquote leveraged for future development or what have you. To me, that's an important safeguard that needed to be in place, and I got to tell you that takes some good thought process beyond just we need this goal exception, but we need it, and we need these safeguards in place around it. So hats off to you for putting the thinking caps on.
What is the role of the Planning Commission, if any, with respect to this study and recommendation?
Well, the key is that the committee is making recommendations to the Department of Environmental Quality. This is a steering committee appointed by DEQ. DEQ will then forward the recommendations to the director, Dick Peterson, and he will then forward those to Deschutes County for our joint meeting in late July. It'll be an opportunity for the commission to learn more about what evolves between now and that point with the recommendations, and then it'll be the Board of County Commissioners' decision, really, what activities Deschutes County initiates which ones we proceed with, which we'll partner on various recommendations. But when it comes to planning and community development, for example, the two that we would be, or three we would be directly involved with would be the Goal 11 exception, potentially the livestock ordinance, and then with the installation of ATT or any other on-site systems, we are an agent of the state through a contract. We administer state rules in close coordination with DEQ. So those would be the three that would affect community development. One with environmental soils, two with the planning department. Any others could be other county departments. It could be the county as a whole. The county could participate with implementing any of the other recommendations, but many are to be determined at this point.
Thank you very much to your committee. It sounds like you guys have all put in a huge amount of work, a huge amount of time, and very thoughtful consideration of many different factors, and come up with at least what seems to me, I guess speaking personally, as very well thought out, reasonable recommendations. So congratulations.
Thank you.
And personally, I'm at the let's go stage.